Checking in. How are you holding up? Was last week rough? See, understanding that I am the biggest problem in marriage, my selfishness, my sin, that requires humility. And that's what we're talking about this week, grace and humility. Marriage is hard because we're selfish. One of the statements from the workbook that jabbed me straight in the heart was humility means not having to be right. Ouch. But, what if I am always right? You should definitely pray for my wife. Something that I've learned now that I've been married quite a while, almost 20 years, is being right is overrated. But I confess I still have a lot of room to grow in this area of humility in my marriage. See, my sin, my lack of humility makes marriage hard. But we have hope. We have good news. We'll be revisiting this again in future lessons, but the reason that we have hope, the reason that we can show grace and humility is because God went first in showing that to us. God designed marriage to be a reflection of His love for us. See, in the beginning, the first married couple ever, Adam and Eve, they got to experience this for a short time. They had perfect intimacy with God. They had perfect intimacy with each other. Like they were naked and unashamed. Just imagine that. But just like in our marriage, selfishness got in the way. They believed a lie, and in one act of rebellion, the intimacy that we were designed to experience with God and with our spouse was shattered. They hid from God, and they covered their nakedness from each other. I think these are the saddest verses of the Bible. This brokenness persists today. This is where our sin problem comes from, our selfishness problem comes from. But God loved us so much. He didn't want to leave us separated from Him. He couldn't imagine that. So He sent His Son on a rescue mission to win us back. See, Jesus lived the perfect life that we couldn't live, and He died a death that we deserve. He was the one who was always right, yet He hung on a cross and died for us. Now, if that were the end of the story, it would still be an awesome story, but that's not why we have hope. Why your marriage can be reconciled no matter where you are today is because Jesus didn't stay dead. He defeated death and He rose again, proving He is the Son of God and proving that He can bring life where there was only death. So, is your marriage in trouble? This is good news for you. Do you struggle with temptations? This is good news for you. Are you sick? Are you dying? Or maybe you're just doing okay. This is good news for you. This is the gospel. Nothing dead moves towards life. That's impossible. Only God can do that. And that's what Jesus did for you, so that you can be made new. Do you believe this is true? On your own, you can't save yourself, and you certainly can't save your marriage. And aren't you tired of trying? How's that going for you? But Jesus can save you because He's already done it all. Do you believe this is true? One of your discussion questions this week asks, have you responded to the gospel and received God's gift of grace? Spend time in your discussion today sharing your response to that question. And by the way, saying no or you're not ready, that's a perfectly acceptable answer. There's no pressure. But for those of us in the room that have already accepted the grace of God, I'll leave you with another question. If we were made new in Jesus, why do we still struggle so much in marriage? I'm going to leave that one in your hands to talk about. I love you, and I'm for your marriage. Don't give up. You're not alone. Until next time, stay in your circle.